Let's make some unique potion bottles by using tiny bottles from the liquor store. Crafting doesn't have to have a plan. It doesn't have to be laid out. It can be fun. And that's what I'm hoping to do today, because I have zero plan, zero, nada, zilch, none, no. A plan does not exist on what I'm going to be doing with these little bottles. I just want to sit down and make something that looks cool and let the craft gods take me wherever they may take me. Of course, I will share with you what I'm doing with mine as we go along. So if you do like one of the potion bottles that I made, you can use that as some inspiration for your own. And I hope that you get some little bottles for yourselves and come along on this fun, creative, whimsical, no strings attached, zero plan, diving in craft adventure with me. Let's go. The first bottle that I'm going to use to make a potion bottle from is this Alpenbitter bottle. That was really hard to say. Alpenbitter bottle, Alpenbitter bottle, Alpenbitter bottle. I, of course, emptied the bottle first. It tastes pretty good, especially in black tea. I then painted the labels because I didn't feel like removing them. I went in with some Mod Podge and then tried some white paint, and when that wasn't doing the job, I decided to go in with some black paint and added a couple of coats. On a whim, I decided to sand the plastic, hoping that it would give it a frosted glass look. Keep in mind that if you choose to do this, please wear a respirator of some sort. Do not be dumb like me. Anyway, I wasn't disappointed in this look. Then I scrounged around my stash until I found some old resin gems I made and cut one in half. Then I painted the cap and added some more embellishments to snazz it up. So because this bottle ended up frosted and not opaque, I decided to fill this one with some sparkles. I used a potion making technique that involves baby oil and water. So it's about a half and half mixture. And then I just dumped in a bunch of silver sparkles to keep that cold, frosted silver vibe I was going with. Now we're on to the small Absolut bottle, and this is a glass bottle. I decided to take some inspo from a previous potion I made. I crinkled up some tissue paper and glued it to the bottle with some Mod Podge. When you do this, you want to crumple up the paper and then uncrumple it. Put glue onto your bottle. Put the paper on and then add more Mod Podge to the surface. Then I painted it all black. I found a wooden piece in my stash that was perfect for the top of the bottle and painted that brown and glued it onto the cap. And then I added a couple of shades of brown to give it a leather adjacent look. I then wrapped the neck with rope and twine. The only things I bought for this were the bottles. Everything else was from my stash. The snakes I got from the craft store half off after Halloween last year. And I realized after this project that I need to collect more things for projects like this one. I really didn't have enough, and honestly, I hunted around for these pieces of plastic necklace that I thought I had, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I guess I cleaned them out and tossed them, which is a huge disappointment. So let this be a lesson to us all to keep those little pieces of quote unquote trash, because you never know when you might need them. This potion I called Serpent's Kiss. Comment down below and let me know what you think Serpent's Kiss would be used for. For these two, this was a little wine bottle inside of this one. This project extended over a couple of days for me. The next day I took a little wine bottle and box it came in and turned it into my version of a love potion. I used Mod Podge and glitter to coat the small bottle. I am officially 0 days glitter free. Then I painted the tube white, added some gold washi tape, and some black ribbon. Then I added some 3D printed scraps, painted gold of course. Added a gold painted label. And use some silicone molds and hot glue to make a couple of embellishments that I then painted and glued on. Silicone molds filled with hot glue are a great way to make embellishments, especially for potion bottles. So if you can find some silicone molds that have unique designs in them, I got mine off of Amazon. And then you just need hot glue, and acrylic paint sticks to hot glue really well. I also thought that these would be really cute as wedding favors. I haven't had to do anything like that in a long time, but that's where my brain went for this. These little skull bottles are great because you can obviously just have them like this because that looks awesome. You can also fill them with glycerin and sparkles and water and have this cool magical potion in a skull. I think I'm gonna put red dye in this one. The skull vodka bottles I filled with glycerin and water with either sparkles and or mica powder with food coloring. I really like this look, and honestly when you use this kind of technique in bigger bottles, it's pretty cool looking. I don't think the small skull bottles quite do it justice. I could have probably decorated the top part of these skull bottles or done something a little different with them, but honestly they just kind of looked cute, and I was working on so many other bottles that I thought they just stood out on their own without doing anything with them. Okay, now on to my last friend. The last bottle, the Grand Marnier bottle, which was emptied by my husband, I actually decided to remove the entire label for. I ended up using Goo Gone and then scraped the labels off and then washed them with soap and water, and this worked incredibly well to get the labels off. I tried using Mod Podge and paint on the bottom first, but it kind of peeled off, and I'm not really sure if it was the Goo Gone that was still on the surface of it, because I know I've used Mod Podge before in paint and it's never peeled off like that. So not sure if something happened because there was still residue from the Goo Gone, but I have a feeling that's what it was. At any rate, I then instead used gesso and paint, and that worked much better. I went for a bronze and black look for this one. It took me a bit to figure out how I wanted to decorate this bottle because my creativity was running a little bit low. I eventually decided on black rope and suede to cover the neck. I painted the cap and wax label black as well. I added some glass Viking beads and made another hot glue embellishment for the front. And then I tried to decide what I wanted to top this bottle with because it looked too plain. And I know I had an idea when I started this project. I had something that I wanted to put on the top and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I remembered. Well, blah, blah. Oh, I was gonna put a rose on the top of this one. It was one of my fake black roses. I don't know why. I felt this one needed a black rose on top of it. So it has a black rose on it. And you know, I kind of love this one. It definitely has its own unique charm. But I do wonder what kind of potion this would be. If you have any name suggestions, drop them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and you try a project like this for yourself. And remember, just go with the flow. Pure creativity, sometimes just going with the vibes leads to the most fun experience crafting because you are not inhibited by set rules or having to have something look a certain way. You can just kind of go based on how you're feeling for that day. If you would like to watch some more fantasy inspired projects and if you need any belt pouches or trinket bags, perhaps for a costume or a fantasy outfit, then this video is the perfect thing for you. See you next time, bestie. Bye.